Hiya! Welcome to the abandoned city of the gods.
The metropolis of an ancient mysterious civilization that preceded the Aztecs. This is Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan is located in the state of Mexico, in the town of San Juan Teotihuacan. At only 50 kilometers or 1 hour drive from Mexico City. The ancient city of Teotihuacan is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. According to archaeological research, Teotihuacan was built 500 years before Christ by the great Teotihuacan culture, whose influence extended all over central Mexico and even as far as Yucatan and Guatemala. Contact between these cultures is evident from trading objects, and the Teotihuacan influence is observed in the architecture and pottery of later cultures. The splendor of the city occurred in the 3rd and 4th century, a period in which it reached between 100 and 200,000 inhabitants and stretched for over 36 square kilometers. Nonetheless, by the 7th century, this culture disappeared and the city was abandoned. To this date, researchers have not found a definitive explanation for the abandonment of the city, and this is only one of the many unanswered questions regarding this place. Hundreds of years after the collapse of Teotihuacan, the city was discovered by the Mexicas, who forged their empire in central Mexico around the 14th century. To put it into context, the Mexicas lived closer to our time than to the time when Teotihuacan was inhabited. The Mexicas were so amazed by the constructions in the city that they gave it the name Teotihuacan, which can be translated to the city of the gods, or where men become gods. However, recent discoveries suggest that the actual name could have been the city of the sun. For the Mexicas, this was a sacred city, and they pilgrimaged for days to reach this worship place. Nowadays, Teotihuacan continues to be a place that draws thousands of visitors to witness its magnificence. But before we get lost in the wonders of Teotihuacan, there are a few things you should know. First, there are 5 entrances, and the entrance number 5 is the closest to the Sun Pyramid and the museum, but it tends to get very busy. Most buses from Mexico City depart from the North Station and arrive to entrance 2, but always check just to be sure. This is a big site with a lot of structures to visit, and if you want to see it all, you will have to walk at least 8K. Thus, it is better to start early. Likewise, during the spring equinox, thousands of visitors come in a spiritual journey to catch good vibes. So you can either join them or keep the date in mind to avoid the crowd. There are only a few shadows, so be prepared if you come in a sunny or rainy day. And no matter where you start your visit, you will find handcraft shops in the entrances and sellers all along the way in the site, so you can get a nice souvenir from your visit. Don't forget to have a look in the local museum to further learn about the Teotihuacan culture and their city. Most of the statues, partial paintings, and objects found in the area, such as decorative items, cooking devices, and even burials, are exhibited there. After all these considerations, let me walk you through the main structures in the city, with the first one being the Calzada de los Muertos, or the Great Avenue of the Dead. It extends over 4 kilometers from the Ciudadela Square to the Moon Pyramid. This avenue leads to all the main structures, so you will spend a lot of time in it. Along this massive avenue, there are about 80 basamentos or high platforms. The Mexicas gave this name to the avenue because they thought those platforms were tombs. But if you explore them a bit, you will find that some of them were actually dwelling complexes. A particularly interesting one is an underground building with overlapping layers. So don't miss the chance to explore it. The underground spaces correspond to older construction periods. Over time, they were sealed and new complexes were built on top. The most renowned structure from the city is the Sun Pyramid. This colossal pyramid is the tallest in Mexico, at 63 meters high. Its base is 225 meters per side, almost the same as the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is estimated that it took almost 150 years to build and the work of about 13,000 builders. This used to be one of the pyramids where you could climb to the top. However, at this time, to preserve the pyramids, it was not allowed to climb to the top, unless you're a squirrel. If things change when you visit, don't miss the opportunity to have a good workout going over 360 steps up to the top for a unique view of the valley. Not too far away, at the north end of the Death's Avenue, is the Moon's Square. And of course, there is the Moon Pyramid, which is 42 meters high and it has a base of 130 by 150 meters. Flanking the pyramid, there are 13 lesser structures, and in front of it, there is a small squared altar. A statue of the water goddess, also related to the moon, Chalchiutlicue, was found on the base of the Moon Pyramid, indicating that this pyramid was dedicated to her. Teotihuacan stands out not only for its massive structures with cosmic alignment,
but also for its decorated murals,
which can be seen mostly in the north of the city. To create these murals, the Teotihuacans used natural pigments, and if you are interested, look for a demonstration by the locals. According to them, Teotihuacans may have used flowers for yellow and orange tones, lapis lazuli, a gemstone brought from Chile, for blue, and red was obtained from a curious source, an insect called grana cochinilla, a common plague of nopales. A few meters away is the palace that was the home of the rulers or high priests, the Quetzalpapalot Palace. This was named after the quetzals with butterflies on their chests that decorate the yard columns. Yet, another remarkable feature of the palace is its well-preserved mural paintings with nature motifs. Outside of the palace, there is the Jaguar Yards, a notable space inhabited by noble families, which also exhibits amazing murals. At the south end of the Death's Avenue lies the political and economic center of the city. This is La Ciudadela, the citadel, arranged in a square of 400 meters per side and surrounded by platforms, which were likely used for public ceremonies. And hiding behind the steps lies my favorite building in the city, the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. No other building has as many statues as this one. This temple is surrounded by 366 feathered serpent heads, as well as heads of water god Tlaloc. The steps on one side used to cover the temple completely, and this could have been due to a change in the ruling powers of the city, where the new administration wanted to remove any reference from their predecessors. To finish this day trip, nothing better than a good meal. Outside of the archaeological site, there are plenty of traditional and street food restaurants. But I will visit a unique one inside a cave. Compared to others, this is a bit pricey, and you may need to wait to be seated if you don't have a reservation, but it's totally worth it. The ambience is unique, and the food is quite good. You can try traditional Mexican food like michiotes, mole, or barbacoa, a pre-Hispanic dish from this region made with sheep's meat. According to the legend, Teotihuacan rulers used to come to this cave to pray to their gods to renew their life, as they believed this cave was the womb from which all life emerged. If you like, you can take part on this ritual and leave your own candle at the back of the cave.
This was the City of Gods, one of the most impressive ancient sites in Mexico, whose past is yet to be uncovered. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye now!